Hi, on last video we showed the configuration of the Albacombi with two levels, one from diesel and another one for freshwater, and then we had one battery. In the last video I showed you with the third-party NIMEA 2000 interface the data coming out of the Albacombi. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you something different. So, this is the data that you can see on the Albacombi directly. On the monitoring screen, you can see those three gauges. Now, but the question is, how can we see this information on a standard NIMEA 2000 display? If you remember, on the last video, I shown that we had already created three PGNs. This was one PGN for fluid, another PGN for fluid, and a third PGN for battery. Okay, but how can I view this information on a standard display? Okay, what I want to achieve is to see the same information that I have on this screen. What I can do is I can connect, or in fact I have connected the Albacombi to a Raymarine E7 display. Now, what I will do for you to see how it goes is I will minimize this Albacombi screen, and what I will do is open the visualizer of the E7, and in here you've got a full E7 screen. So basically now this applies for the E7. Other marine electronics will have to be done on a different way. You go to, in this case, to data, you select it, and then what we want to do is create a new page that mimics the information that I have already created or I am monitoring on the Albacombi. What I do is I go to menu, I go to edit page, and I create a new page. This is what I wanted to do. I say, for instance, this is only an example. You can use any combination of information that you want. You want to use 3 cells. Okay, on the top cell I select the data category, and then I say I want information from fuel, and I want to have fuel level, and I want to see the fuel level in percentage. Okay, and as you see, I've got the particular fuel level indication on the E7, but the information is coming from the Albacombi interface. Now I go to the second cell and I say I want to show in here tanks. Okay, I select freshwater, and I want to see freshwater in gauge form, and I've got my freshwater tank, and I go back and I said I want to see battery, so I go to battery and I go to battery 1. If you recall, I was mentioning that we had few instances. In this case, battery 1 is instance 0 and battery 2 is instance 1. So I just have to find one battery, which is instance 0, and this is what I'm going to select. I select battery 1, and because I am only reading battery voltage, I just select battery voltage. I select battery voltage as digits, and then I have not changed the field. I'm going to change it again, put tanks, fresh water with gauge, move backwards, and I forgot to do that. Battery 1, battery voltage in digital form, and I'm done. I have my information page coming from NIMIA 2000. If you want to check, I mean, this information that you are seeing is coming from a Raymarine E7. Now I will minimize this. I will put in one side. I will open my browser. Okay, and if you see, this is exactly the same information. So fresh water goes to, say, down, and you see, well, it has got a little bit of delay, but it goes down at the same time. Or fresh water goes 100% or 80%, and it goes up at the same time. You see, voltage, basically voltage indication is being shown 11.5. 11.5 is exactly the same thing. I'm going to move the battery voltage up and down a little bit. It moves up. Now it's showing 13.6 in both 13.9 in both Albacombi and the Raymarine, and then go a little bit less, and it shows 9.9, 9.8. It's basically the same thing. Okay, so I go up, and it's showing now 11.8. So if I move to the other side, you see diesel is showing 56.8%. Now if I go up to 100, it will show 100% in the Raymarine and 100% in the Albacombi. So basically what I wanted to show you is that I'm getting the same information on the E7 than on the Albacombi. And again, I'm reading this information directly from the E7. So it's just, I'm getting the video directly from the E7. Okay, I want to show you another thing, which is calculated data. Now, if you go to N2K and you select the fluid level, the fluid level 1, which was the diesel. Now, and I say the system, I have a capacity in liters of 100 liters. I save it. Okay, what happens is that if I go to the E7 and I say, okay, I want to configure, remember that I have 100%, but I don't know how many liters do I have. Now, what I can do is I can say, I go to menu, edit page, and then I go back to freshwater. I will remove the freshwater indication. I will select data category. I will select fuel, and I will select total fuel in volume. So total fuel in volume in digital form. And you see, the reason why I've got 99 liters is because I have told the system that I've got a tank of 100 liters, and I'm just up to 100 liters, so more or less I have 98 liters. Now if I go to half tank, I'm moving the sensor by hand, so I go to around 50%, so I've got 56, something like that, 56 liters. Now say that I'm going to change something. Say that I've got a tank of 200 liters and I save it. Okay, now I'm sending to the NEMEA 2000 network that I have a tank of 200 liters and I have, say, 50%. So what it happens, it is that when I'm at 0, of course, I'm having 0, but when I am up to 100%, then I have around 200 liters. So this is why the NEMEA 2000 information has some reflection on your E7 display. So obviously, on the particular case of the E7, you can mix data with particular navigation data. So, for instance, you can go to for instance, navigation, and then you're on your navigation page. Obviously, nothing is being shown because I don't have GPS or navigation information. But say that you want to show you your fuel in there. You go to menu, you go to edit page, and you select your VMG to waypoint. I don't want to see this, but instead of VMG to waypoint, I want to show fuel level in gauge form. So basically, this gauge information is coming from the Albacombi and is mixed with the rest of the E7 information. Again, this is not particular of the this is particular of the E7, but this is how you can mix NEMEA 2000 information from the Albacombi with, in this case, Raymarine, but the same can be done with other electronics. The things are a little bit different, but in all of them, things can be done in very similar ways. Now, there is one thing that you have to understand, that the limits, so if we go to full view in the Albacombi, and I've got my battery display, or my battery gauge goes from 10 to 30. This is the range that I want to see. Now, if you go to, and now I have 11.9 volts. If I go to the E7, and instead of fuel, I put, I go to menu, I go to, no, I'm going to do another thing. I'm going to take one and do this particular screen, which is a highway navigation speed. I'm going to change. I'm going to edit page, and I'm going to select data category, and I'm going to select battery 1 in voltage and gauge. So you see that I'm having 0 to 60 volts, and the data is correct, but the gauge is particular. So the gauge range is particular of the E7. So if I move the battery voltage up and down like so, now I'm going to maximum, so the needle moves a little bit. So the information is exactly the same, but the gauge range is different, and the gauge range is particular of the gauge range and gauge type is particular of the application of the E7 in this case. So as I mentioned, other electronic manufacturers can have a little bit different way to do things, but at the end of the day, what I wanted to show you is that all the information that goes from out of the Albacombi through NEMEA 2000 can be interfaced with any NEMEA 2000 compatible electronics.